So, good everyone, everyone. My name is Pratik Mandvi, and today's topic of discussion is Java journey. So, people, today we will be on the path of Java. We will discuss about Java, that what are the modern features we have in the Java, and also the best practices we have to follow during coding in the Java. Okay, when even if you are a developer, even if you are a new student or who is starting the Java, if you are familiar with Java, this video is for you, and you can understand features, what we should have to learn, and what are the best practices that we need to follow during making the application or developing an application or writing any code. So myself, Pratik Mandve, I'm a junior software engineer at ABC Trainings, and I teach C, C++, Java, Python, as well as a full stack development. I also work as a full stack developer and develop application in Spring Boot. So before getting ahead, let's first discuss about the birth of Java. So talking about the Java's birth, Java was created by the James Gosling. That one thing I think everybody knows, and it is created by the Sun microsystem. It was mid 1990s where this programming language came to existence. Then the person James Gosling and their team decided that we need to develop one programming language or one program which can be work in any system. So from where the concept of Java came to existence, they decided that we need to create a language which can be used in any platform like Windows, Linux, or any Mac. Okay, so for that they started working, and eventually it was actually a project called Green, on which they were working, but it was actually for the electronic devices. VCR was popular during those days, and for those they were preparing that language. So working on that particular thing, they eventually created one language which they name as Java. Java is actually the place. You can Google it and you can search that. Java is actually a place where I think we call, means at the place of Java, there the beans of Java exist. Means people go there to drink coffee. The coffee is one of the famous thing at the Java island. Okay, it's actually an island. So some microsystem created the Java, and the Java, when it was got created, it was a complete language which can work in any platform. So it was in the first release, it was not that much good that we see it today. So before moving ahead, let's see the evaluation of Java. Java was actually released in the 1995, and then it goes significant changes. Whatever we see today, it is moreover different than it was in previous. So there are some modern features right now. We have like Lambda expression, Stream API, model system. After the Java 8 and other, Java 8 was one of the biggest update of the Java, and then Java 11. Then, today we are at the stage of Java 20. Okay, it's more than 20 release they have created for the Javas. And the practices we need to follow to work on the Java is, first, if you are familiar with Java, then let me explain you this basic concept. What should we follow? Even if you are a developer, then you need to follow this. So we need to use interfaces instead of abstract classes. The reason for using an interfaces instead of abstract classes is that we can only extend a single class with the class, but we can extend the interfaces to a single class, so it gives an advantage. Also, when we are using our abstract classes, there are some methods which we need to override, which is not necessary. So this that is also one problem with abstract classes. So to avoid that, we can easily use interface and their methods. Second, avoid using static keyword. See, when we create any static keyword thing like a method or a variable, we need to first thing, why do we using the static word? Okay, the static word means that when we are means whatever the method or the variable we are creating as a static, it will load during the class loading. Okay, so we need to think that do we really need this particular method or variable during the loading of class? So avoid this mistake using a static, because see, when students start to learn Java, they commonly know the one single method, that public static void main string array args, right? So the main method is itself a static method. So we student think that every method should have the void, every method should have static. So that mistake some beginner do, that student should avoid. Second, using final keyword. So final keyword we need to use. Why? Because we need to prevent variables. Okay, even the methods as well. So when we want to prevent something in the Java, we use the final keyword. If you go for the C++, then we have const. Okay, so similar in the Java we have final keyword, which help us to prevent the modification of that particular variable or the method. So mostly it's used for a variable, and even if it is a reference variable, or you can say even if it is a reference variable, and if you are creating some constant, then we use the final keyword. The final keyword allow us not to get modify that particular code. So when we are so the thing is that when we need the security, we need the final keyword. Like if you are working in the Spring Boot, then you have, even if you are a developer, Spring Boot developer, or any Node.js developer as well. So when you are storing your URL path in a .env file or somewhere in the backend link, or if you are receiving the front-end link in your backend, that is also one of the final keyword which you don't want to change it again. Okay, so that needs to be kept final. Then second thing, when if you are making the authentication using the JWT, so there we get some secret code. Okay, secret key we call it as, and it is, I think, means it ups to you how much security level do you need. So that key we need to store it as a private. Actually we store that key in the separate file, but that is also we need to keep it as a final, so that nobody could change that. Okay, so that these are the best practices we need to follow. And talking about the evaluation of Java, so Java runtime, and let's talk about the JRE. Okay, JRE introduced in 1998, and Java itself was created in the 1995. So there is a bit different in the creation of development of JDK and JRE. Okay, as we to run Java application on a user machine, we need JRE, and it comes under the JDK. Okay, when we install the JDK, JRE automatically get installed. So JDK is a basically independent thing that every machine, if the machine have a JRE, then and then only you can run the Java code in your system. Without a JRE, you can't run your program. Okay, Java program. So let's talk about the JDK 1.0. Okay, so in the 1996, first version of Java come to exist. They created the JDK for first time, and using that we can create some applets and swing, because during that time there was a bit understanding of web development, but everyone wants to use the computer. For that they need a desktop application was more popular. So for that they introduced applets and swings, so that we can create a desktop application or some pop-ups like. So using the swing and applets, you can able to create. But from September 2021, applets are not available in your JDK. Okay, so they removed the complete concept of applets, because there are lot more things that we it's a different topic, but applets is removed, and there are some reasons to remove that applets. Okay, then in 1998 they come with the JDK 1.2. Okay, in which they introduce the collection frameworks. If you are aware with the data structure, then you will find all the data structure in this collection framework. Okay, whatever the advanced data structure you study, all the data structures with their methods are implemented already in the Java. So you can easily use those in Java using the collection framework. You just need to extend that, and you just need to import the collection, and you can directly use the data structure. All the methods are available, and you can create your own objects using those data structures. So that was the major release in our 1.2, and some basic changes are also there in the Java 5.0. It was released in 2.4. The feature generics, we can create the generics and the annotations. If you are a Spring Boot or Spring developer, you may have idea for this, that we use most of annotations while developing any applications. Okay, so annotations make our task easy while developing applications. Okay, we don't like if we take the example of a constructor. Okay, we need argument constructor. So if we are using if we talk about the Java rule, okay, when we create any constructor with a parameter, then we also need to create non-parameterized constructor, okay, separately. So for that we have two annotations in the Spring. At it is inside the lambok, so you need to first use the dependency lambok, and then you can use @no argument constructor and argument constructor @argument constructor in your Spring application. That is actually development part, and you also have the option for auto boxing and unboxing. Okay, auto boxing and unboxing help you to create the objects of your primitive data types. Okay, to create the objects from your primitive data types and convert the object into primitive data types, we use the concept called auto boxing and unboxing. Okay, that was the release from 5.0. Then there was a Java SC6. It's a six version exist into 2006. So there was they allow us to use the dynamic languages as well as the XML processing capabilities. Okay, if you are again I will say if you are a developer, then you may have idea for the XML that we use for pom.xml file, right? We need to add some dependencies. For that we need XML. If we are creating a class path, then also we need a XML. So XML is a one-off language which is easy. Okay, XML is a language which is easy one, but that you need to learn before going for development. Okay, web development or Android as well. So that is one thing. Then let's talk about the 7th release of Java. Okay, 7th release came in existence into 2011. So there was some new features in the Java 11, that is Java 7. So there was a try-catch block. Okay, its try-catch block was already existing for the exception handling. Then there was some error files, error classes, and the exception classes was added, as well as multiple catch exception can be done in this new update. Okay, before that we just create a single try catch block. We are not able to create a multiple catch block for the single try. Okay, so in this release they created a multiple catch blocks. Okay, then in the Java 8 we have, it was released in 2014, and the updates, this was the main updates like lambda expression. If I want to talk regarding a lambda expression, that when we are creating an object, we don't need to actually give the name for the object, or we can say it as an anonymous object. Okay, so for creating an anonymous object, anonymous array, that lambda part, that is called a lambda part or the lambda expression, that come in existence in the 2014. Then Stream API was there. Stream API is like file handling. Okay, we have a data stream file, then we have a byte file. Okay, means there are different types of files we do handle in an application. So for that, this type of Stream API came to existence into Java SE8. Okay, in the 8 release. Means we can handle the files properly. There are 4 to 5 APIs are there using which we can handle the files. Then we have our date and time API. So date and time API is also one of important and major thing we need in the daily time. Like in the date and time, there was changes like when we create any date, in the date we can format those date as per our requirement. We can create the day of it, means like a Sunday, Monday. We can give the days as well. We can just specify the year, months, or the day using the date API and the time API. Okay, this was some release for the Java. So this is our evaluation of Java, and currently we are using Java 20. Coming up to the Java 20, we have major changes in the error also. So if you see the errors in the Java 1 and compare those errors with the Java 8 and also with Java 20, you will see some slight changes in your errors and exceptions. So exceptions and errors are clear now. So anybody who is reading the Java code can easily predict the error and the exception that he calls. Then let's talk about the features of Java. So in the Java, the first feature is like a simple. Java is one of the simplest language. I don't know why, but people create it as a complex language. But if you put a one person who don't have an idea of programming, I can explain him concept of Java. Okay, so that much easy is a Java. See, the syntax of Java is a large. I can agree with that, but the way of working of Java is very simple compared to C++, because in a C++ we have keywords like go to, and then also we have um, pointer concept, which is not in the Java. So a pointer is one of the complex concept in the C++, which is not in Java. We can directly use without pointers in Java. We can use a Java without pointers. Okay, so that much simple is your Java. Then talking about the portability. So see, let's take one example of a portability. Everyone use port. Okay, everyone use mobiles. Everyone has a mobile. When there was a boom for Geo SIM or Airtel SIM, yeah, means most of people are using the same SIM because those SIM were the first SIM who started the 4G network. Okay, so everybody started to port their existing SIM to the Geo or Airtel. So the while we was porting our SIM, we don't need to change our phone number, right? We don't need to change our existing contacts in our SIM card. It's just migrated to the network. We just migrated the network, nothing else. Everything was in our phone, and whatever we have regarding the SIM was similar. Just we change the company or the network. Okay, that is the portability. So that portability similar to our Java. When we are creating any Java code in the, let's take example for the Windows. If we are writing any code in the Windows, okay, and that code we can use in that code can be used inside MacBook or the Linux. Okay, so the code can be ported into the another system. Let if we are working with a web application, then we can or RMI. Okay, if we are talking about RMI, we connect two different devices. Okay, means we are making interconnectivity of two devices that can easily done with using your Java. Okay, so that we can say it as a portability. So that is portability. Then talking about platform independent. So Java is platform independent. Okay, JVM means JVM is not a platform independent. We need a JVM in every system so it can run the Java code. Okay, let's take the portability example. When we are writing a Java code, when we execute that code, when we compile it, after the compilation, it creates a dot class file. Okay, the dot class file means byte file. So a byte file can be read anywhere. Okay, it is just a byte file, not a machine code. So after running that, it creates a dot class file, and that dot class file we can migrate to any system. We can if I'm writing the code in the Windows, that can be run inside your MacBook. If you take that class and run into the MacBook, you can see that the code will run perfectly. Okay, because it is in the form of byte. It will only possible to run the code because of the JVM. So in the system, we need a JVM. Then only we can run the code. Okay. So if you are using a Windows, if you are using a MacBook or Linux, you at least need your JVM in your system so that it can run your Java code. Then talking about the architecture neutrality. Okay. See, take the example of your own system. If you are writing any code, that code need to, if your system is like, take example, it's i3, then its processor is, if you have one processor, some RAM in it, you need to change that. Okay. If you change your RAM, if you change your processor, still the code will work as same as it was previously working. Okay. We don't need to change modify the code if we configure or if we made some changes in our system. So the changes in the system, we can say it as architecture. Whatever we have in the system, like processor, RAM, or the whatever it is available in your system, that can we that we can say as an architecture. So if you modify that architecture, then also your Java code will work fine. Then talking about the security, so Java is mainly called for its security purpose. Okay, so see, if you have an idea of a bytecode execution, when we download any Java particular file, or let's take example, when you are downloading any file. Okay, while downloading there or while installing any software, it asks you, it might harm your system. That type of notification you get while installing any application. So that type of application, that type of pop-up we do not get during the Java, because Java is secure. How it's secure? So Java incorporates robust security features that protect against the potential vulnerability. It's bytecode executed within the secure sandbox. Okay, sandbox is a concept. It's advanced concept, and preventing unauthorized access to the system resources. So it creates its own sandbox, and then it checks that the bytecode we are receiving is compiled by the right compiler or the Java compiler. It is not allow any other type of compiler to compile that code. Okay, if that code is compiled perfectly and the bytecode is right, then and then only it can allow to execute it in your system. So this is the main thing that we say Java is a secure. Okay. So next feature is our multi-threading. Okay. In the multi-threading, when we are creating the threads, like take the example, if you are writing the code of 100 lines. Okay. When you will run that code, the last line will take a time to execute. Okay, the first line will means sequential. The code will run in the sequential manner. Okay, if you want to run that code in the sequential manner, or if you want to run that last line before the execution of first line, then we have to make some changes. Let's take as I said, if the code is 100 line, we can divide that code into two different parts. If the code is different, okay, the both functionality are different. For that, we can split that code and make it as a thread. Okay, and if we make it as a thread, it will execute both codes simultaneously at the parallel time. Okay, at the same time, both code of 50 lines will execute, and your time will decrease to half. Okay, and again, if that code is also taking a time, so you can also split that code again and make the separate thread. So you can minimize your time with the half time if you are using the multi-threading. If you take example of multi-threading, if you are searching on a Google, or if you are searching any file directory in your system, okay, in the system you search some files. So for that, there is a use of multi-threading concept. Okay, it search that particular keyword in your whole system. See, if your system have lots of file, like it may take a lakhs file, or the 60 or 70 thousands of files are existing in your system. So for searching just single keyword, it might take a day to search that keyword. For that, so the system split that whole system, it's split into different parts, and using the threads we can search that particular keyword differently. If in any thread we got that keyword, then other threads stop to execute. So that is our concept of multi-threading we have in a Java's feature. Then the Java is a interpreted language. So we can interpret the Java code. How do we interpret? So first means there is confusion in the student, like the language is interpreted or compiled. Okay, so I can say that it is work as a both. It is a combination of that. First, the Java code, we write a Java code, then compile it. So for the after the compilation, it converts into the dot class file. It's a byte file. Okay, and then that byte file can be converted into your machine code. For converting into machine code, we need interpreter. Okay, so interpreter take that byte code and converts it into the machine code. For converting that byte code into the machine code, we need JVM. So the JVM is a part where we need that JVM during that execution. Okay, so in every system we need a JVM because we need to run the byte code and convert it into the machine code. So for the conversion to the machine code, we need a JVM. So because of which we can say that a JVM is a platform dependent. So every platform has its own configuration for which we need different JVMs. Okay. Then Java is high performance language. Despite being interpreted language, Java achieves high performance through the various optimization technique. Just in time. Okay, the just in time is a part of your compilation where code get compiled fast and execution of your code gets faster. It is used mainly for the same or a repetitive code. Okay, if you are creating one object and you are executing same method again and again, more than it, you can take like a 3 or 4 times, then it will not compile and then again execute it again, because it will consume your time. So to reduce that time, we have JIT. Okay, JIT compiler. We call it as a JIT compiler in your Java. So just in time is a one type of compiler which convert your byte code into the machine code, so that your processing get faster and your execution get faster. And then we can say Java as a dynamic language. So Java's dynamic features such as reflections. We have a reflections in our Java, and runtime information allow application to analyze and modify their own structure and behavior at runtime. So this type of capabilities empowers developers to build a flexible and adaptive application that can adjust their behavior based on changing conditions. So that is the that is a working of Java in the dynamic way. So one of the important thing we need to discuss here, like object oriented foundation. Okay, so Java gives us the object oriented foundation. There are misconceptions that Java is not object oriented, because see, we just miss here one thing called multi-level inheritance. Okay, except multiple inheritance. So except that thing, Java is completely object oriented. We can create the object using it. We can inherit the classes. We can make the class encapsulate. We can make a polymorphism in the runtime as well as the compile time polymorphism. Then also, which we call as a, also we have overriding and overloading concept in the polymorphism, which we can use. Also we have abstractions. So we can abstract the class. We have abstract class method, which types of classes, abstract classes, which we can extend to use the unimplemented methods. We can also create the method which are abstract to make it user friendly. Okay, so Java is also one of object-oriented language, and it is the one of the important concept of Java that we need to study for the object-oriented. Okay, then for the future concept, let's take a difference in the Java and other programming language. So in the Java, we have lambda expression, streams, which make the code more concise and expressive. Okay, And then talking to the another programming languages like Python or JavaScript, we don't have such concept. So for that, the Java is a one of best language for development. Okay. Then significance in the embracing the future. Okay, we're talking about the future of the Java. Then in the future, we can take the advantage of these features as a developer. Okay, as a developer, we can write a code efficiently. We can maintain the code because if talking about the object-oriented programming, we have a concept like inheritance. So if you use inheritance properly, you can minimize your length of code. Okay, we can also take the advantage of a polymorphism, like we cannot repeat the code. Okay, we can dynamically use the code using the polymorphism. We can also encapsulate the code. Okay, so whatever we need to show to the users, that only we can show. We don't need to show everything to the user. Okay, that can be achieved using your abstraction. Okay, and in the next upcoming future, even the AI and the cloud computing using a Java for their development for the base. Okay, so what is the impact of Java globally? Talking about the e-commerce, then Java has played a significant role. That e-commerce, whatever we see the new application in our daily life, okay, in the e-commerce application. So those applications are using Java because of the security reasons. Okay, the level of security provided by Java is next level, so that every application we see as a if you take about the government example, if you take about the e-commerce side, those applications are crucial for the people. So that needs a security for which we use Java. Okay. Then Java is a robust language as well. It's scalable. So because of which we can use its security. Okay. For the security reasons, we can use it. When talking about the financial, sorry, talking about the finance part, Java is widely used for the finance industry because for the banks or any other financial institute, there is a risk of management system. There is a risk for the critical application. So for that, we need a Java, and Java make those applications more secure. Its ability to handle a large volume of data and a complex calculation make it popular choice. Okay, so Java handles a large and complex data as well, so that we can we can manage the data, because even talking about the financial only, there are multiple users are there are multiple users for single bank. Okay, and the financial institute. And for today's world, most of people are using the stock market. They are creating their SIPs using the bank application. Means the applications we are handling in our mobile itself. So it is crucial to keep those applications more secure, for which Java is used. And for the healthcare, Java is also making an impact for the healthcare industry, which is ability to handle a large amount of patient data and support complex. So as already I said that Java is able to Java is able to handle complex data. Okay, and it can work with a complex algorithm. It is used for building electronic and health record system. Okay, we see the health record system and the electronic devices. So for which Java is used. It mainly used for the medical imaging application and other health related softwares. So for the ahead, for the future, what is future of Java? For the web development, if I'm talking about the web development, Java is widely used in the web development, and its popularity is expected to continue in the future. Because see, if you see the past applications, the companies have developed their backend or some parts even in the front end as well using the Java. So because of which they will continue with the same code, and the language popularity will not decrease at any cost. And also in the Java we have new features like microservices and the cloud, and even in the cloud computing also. we are using Java. So because of which Java will continue in the future. Second, Java in mobile development. So every mobile we see in our hand, or every mobile see in the world, are using mostly Android. Okay, mostly the system of mobile, means architecture of mobile works on Android. So for the Android, the basic language is your Java. Okay. Now in the current days, people are using a Kotlin as well. But if you talk about the Kotlin, Kotlin is also a language which is developed using Java itself. So Java is a base language for any development. Okay, means we can develop application in web application. Also, we can develop a mobile application. Okay, so for both the web as well as the mobile development, the future of Java will continue. And let's take some sites of development of cloud. Okay, in Amazon Web Services, it's a popular cloud platform, and it's allow us to create the Java applications using some services it provides, like EC2, S3, RDS, that can use for scalability of application. And also Java provide a big support for your Hibernate and Spring. Okay, so if mostly the Java applications are developed using the Spring, so it provide that support as well. And talking about the Azure cloud, see, I'm comparing here three different cloud services. You can see here I have talked about just AWS, and now I will talk about Azure cloud. So Azure cloud is a Microsoft cloud. Microsoft Azure is another popular cloud platform for deploying Java-based application. So Azure also provide a support for a Java application. It offers a range of services including virtual machine, app services, SQL database. So if you are using any SQL databases, even I have also used the Azure cloud, and where I have developed application and deployed in using a Azure web service. Okay, so there is an app service as well, using which we can deploy our Android application or other mobile application as well. We have SQL database services, PostgreSQL services. Most of our database services are available in the Azure cloud. Then that can be used to build scalable and reliable application. Azure also provides support for popular Java framework such as Spring and Struct. So compared to the AWS, Azure is providing you a Struct as advantage, because AWS is also providing you a Spring and Azure is also providing you same Spring. But the difference in both is like AWS also provides support for Hibernate and Azure is providing for the Struct. For the Google Cloud is a platform that offers a range of services, including compute engine, app engine, cloud SQL, that can use to deploy the Java-based application. Okay. Google Cloud also provides a support for popular Java frameworks such as Spring and Play. These are the few frameworks which all the cloud service. Spring is a means for the Java. Spring is a one of base. Sorry, Java is a base framework in which we develop applications. Okay. So what are the key takeaways from this presentation? Java. So first thing is that you can remember James Caslin is a person who created Java in a Sun microsystem in mid of 1990s. Then Java is a class-based object-oriented language. It is simple, secure, and robust language. Okay, we use it as for a web development, for a mobile development, as well as a desktop development. For the desktop development, I also given an example for the Swing and applets. Also, we have a Java FX using which we can create the desktop part. Okay. Java's key feature includes platform independence, automatic memory management, and exception handling. Talking about the automatic memory management, it is done using the garbage collector concept in Java. Okay. We also have an exception handling to handle the new exceptions which we create. Okay. Java has evolved over the years with the introduction of new features such as Lambda, expression, stream, and modules. as I earlier discussed about the Lambda expression streams and modules. Java continues to be popular programming language with a strong community and support for major companies. Okay, because already most of MNCs as well as the big tech have their application based on Java. So Java will continue with its support and it will continue to work. So thank you for joining this session and Java history as well as the modern feature of Java. If you have any query, so you can connect with me. You can reach to us. We will support you. So thank you everyone.